No, I don't. Be like your calendar pleasure up.
So good. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, awesome.
Let's see if we're getting any more people popping on online. Yep, got one more. All right, for the online people, there will be 2 documents. I did not get a chance to put them into the chat this morning. So I will send them out to you if I have your email address. If you don't get it by the end of the day, give me an email. My email is amca@kwdsm.com. Those of you here in the office, the handouts are two handouts, the policy form and the how-to guide. Pretty simple guide. Yep, right back there. Sign in. The policy guide. The policy guide will be the document you'll need to sign at the end of class to say, yes, I've taken it, I've read the policy. The policy basically states that you've attended this training. You've also attended forms training from Jeannie, so you understand what things the office requires, the policies, the minimum commission policy, and then we send off your information to DMAR, and Cindy gives you the thumbs up and you're good to go. Cheryl, I'm gonna need you to send me your information because I know who you are, Cheryl. Sorry. Cheryl P. All right, let us get started here. If my computer, there we go. So why would you want to input your own listings? They're your listings, so it's time for you to take some control of it so it can go live on you and your seller's schedule. So you meet with your seller on a Friday night at 6 o'clock and they're like, I'm ready, let's go. Let's have an open house this weekend. Well, it's after hours. And our MLS data department doesn't work on the weekends. So, but this way you'll have that opportunity to make that go live at 7 o'clock while you're watching TV and having your glass of wine, celebrating that listing. And then you can also get an open house scheduled for the weekend. And Monday morning, it's sold. And then you'll be able to make it go pending again on your seller's schedule. If you get an offer on a Friday night at 7 o'clock, they're like, I'm done. No more showings this weekend. You can make it go pending. We're going to watch a video. It is a general overview video. It's not specific to our MLS, but it gives you some highlights of what it looks like. I had some issues the last time. Try again. All right, you're not making any noise. Go away. That's the wrong thing. Hold on, sorry. Turn off Spotify. There we go.
Nevertheless, the functionality is the same, and for the most part, whatever you see here in this tutorial, you'll easily recognize in your own system. Now, I'm going to take for granted that everyone knows how to log into the system, so we'll start by inserting our user ID and our password, then click Login to begin. Now, because this is a Matrix Input tutorial, we're going to click on the Input tab. All right, so this is ultimately where you'll decide to either create a brand new listing or to edit an existing one. Let's start by creating a new listing, and we'll do this by clicking on the Add New link. All right, from here, simply choose what type of listing you'd like to add, and for this tutorial, we're going to create a new residential listing. Okay, there are 3 ways to create a brand new listing within Matrix. We can choose to either fill from tax records, fill from an existing listing, or we can start with a blank slate. If we choose to fill from an existing listing, we can either retrieve the listing with an MLS number, or we can choose to do a search for it. But for this tutorial, we're going to start with a completely blank listing. So let's click on the blank listing link, and this takes us to an area where we'll insert all the listing details using a very simple step-by-step input wizard. Now, as part of this process, you're asked to decide whether the status of this listing is incoming or active. And what this means is, if you'd like to start the listing but not yet make it visible to the public on the MLS, perhaps because it's incomplete, you'd want to choose incoming. If, on the other hand, you have all the information available to make your listing comply with the input rules, you can make it public immediately by choosing active. For this tutorial, I'm going to create an incoming or an incomplete listing, and then later I'm going to edit it by making the listing active for all to see on the MLS. Okay, so in these next sections, we're asked to add some required and some optional information based on the input field's color. But for this tutorial, I'm not going to focus too closely on each and every field, but one thing that I would like to highlight is how to map the listing. And we'll do this by simply adding the property's address, and then clicking on the Get Latitude and Longitude from Address link. And an interesting thing to note here is, to ensure that your listing shows up accurately on all map searches, you'll need to verify that the push pin is properly located. To do this, simply select the Get Latitude and Longitude manually link, zoom in, then click wherever you'd like the new marker to appear. To set the Google Street View, click the Google Street View link, then drag the image to exactly how you'd like the property to display. All right, once complete, we can now continue to fill out any required information according to our status. And remember, if at any point you'd like to change the listing to active, simply switch the status from incoming, and you can continue to populate your required fields. But again, we're not going to finish this listing in the moment, so I'm just going to submit it as incomplete and come back to the form data later. All right, so now that the save has succeeded, we're able to add any additional photos and supplements to the listing. And we'll do this by first navigating to where we stored the images on our hard drive, and then adding each of them individually or all together to the listing. All right, with our images uploaded, let's make this the primary photo by dragging and dropping the picture to its new primary position. We can also choose to add an optional description to each of the pictures simply by selecting the image, adding our text, then clicking on Done when we're finished. All right, with our photos complete, click Save, and we're ready to add any listing supplements. For this example, I'm going to add a floor plan, and I'm simply going to call it Floor Plans. So let's browse for the file on my hard drive, click Upload, and finally, I'm going to click on Save. And that's it. I've now added an incoming listing that's only visible to me. All right, so now let's assume that I want to edit this incomplete listing. Perhaps there's some additional information that I like to include, or maybe I just want to finish adding all the required fields and update the status to active. Either way, to do this, first click on the Input tab, then enter an MLS number into the text box, select the listing that you'd like to modify from the drop-down list, or you can click on the Edit Existing link to do a search. From here, let's enter the MLS number of the listing that I'd like to modify. And we see that we have a variety of editing options to choose from. And we've already added some photos and supplements to our partial listing, so let's just click on our input form, update the status to active. Now let's quickly finish filling out all the required fields.
That's fast.
And now let's click Submit. All right, at this point, if you see any error icons indicated on your page, it means that you haven't entered the required information. To correct this, you'll need to navigate to where the error icons are displayed and resolve the issues before you're able to submit your listing. All right, with all required fields now complete, click the Submit button, and your active listing is now live on the MLS. Well, that concludes our listing input tutorial. I'd like to thank you for watching and hope that you can join me for another session. Take care.
All right. Oh, yes. So we're going to slow it down, slow it way down. How do I get back into full screen? What did I do wrong? All right, we're going to continue this way. So input, add new. And you're going to select the form. 95% of the time, it's going to be residential. A few times you're going to be a multifamily. You'll also have some land, bare land, raw land out there. Commercial is rarely used in our MLS. They have their own special. They're special. Come on. So like he said, there are 3 ways to enter from the Realist Auto Pop, which is tax records information. So if you trust that, pull it in from that way. Copy an existing listing. Me and my fingers. That's if you had the listing before, your seller said, okay, I get you. I'll update, I'll do some changes. Let's pull it off the market. Let me do the updates. So you're using your old listing. Make sure when you do that, and you put it back active, you've put some new information in there, like brand new paint, extension on the back, garage fix, whatever change the seller made, you make that notation. Or you can start with the blank form. Yes?
So that's not to use, I mean, if the property's been listed, but with another agent, there's a previous MLS number, do not use that?
Do not, and I don't think you have access to be able to pull that information in.
All right.
Plus, you're not 100% sure that that information is correct.
Sure. Yeah, there's gonna be some updates that are needed to it anyways, but okay. So
Yeah.
basically, if you were to withdraw or cancel a listing or whatever, then you're gonna.
Yeah.
reactivate it. Okay.
Yeah, people take it off the market for
Yep.
various reasons,
Yep.
to fix up, to go, it's not the right time. It's now the right time. All right, so this is the first section, the general information. You'll see a lot of yellow. Those are the required fields. You'll want to make sure you populate and fill in all of those. This does follow the data form that we have in the files that the seller fills out, you fill out with the seller's help. So it goes in order. So you're able to kind of put it next to it and kind of just fill it in. I really like the videos mapping information, especially making the picture, because that's one of those things that as people go out there and search and find it on the Z place, they'll see those things, and they'll see that it's not in the middle of a lake, it's at the actual property location. This is the features. You'll see on here, there's not a whole lot required. The only requirements is where'd you hide the key? Is it a lockbox, and how to show it? And does the seller request only show to qualified buyers? Those are the only things requested or required. But what are our buyers looking for? They're looking for garages. They're looking for, does it have a basement? Is it finished or unfinished? Some people are looking for fireplaces. So you have that information from your seller, fill it in, because that'll help your seller's listing get found. Association. Again, only 2 things are required here. Is there one? And is it a senior community? But again, if people want an HOA, they want to know what is required, and they don't want to read those 50 to 100 page documents, and their agent is not going to read them. They're going to call you up and say, what does the HOA cover? So fill that information out as best you can with your seller's help. Is there breed restrictions on pets? Rent restrictions? Can you buy the property and then rent it out? Those are things people want to know going forward. Room details. None of this is required, but everybody wants to know, does it have a master on the main? Where are the bedrooms located? Upstairs, downstairs, basement? So give everybody a chance to find those things. Owner information, taxes, of course, are going to be required. The one thing you want to make sure you're careful about is the SC to SF make sure that percentage is filled out according to what is on the plan, on the data page, and it's not 6% or 7%, whatever is on your contract, your listing agreement with the seller. Because if it's 7%, you're going to give away all of it, your whole commission. So whatever the fair division is, and our office minimum is 3%. Can also be a dollar amount, I believe. You'll see the remarks here. None of this is required. However, if you do, select save, or, it will pop up saying, yes, you need to tell people how to get there. You need to put some remarks in. So go ahead and put those information in there. And directions is not use Google. Help them out. You're going to validate. Click the validate button at the bottom, check to see if anything's missing. You're going to save it as complete. The reason you save as incomplete is because you want to make sure that once it's active, everything is pushed out together. You don't want it piecemealing out, because especially the photos. If you don't have all the documents yet, but you do have photos and all the information, those two can be pushed out together, and then they go together, syndicated to Z and all the other hundreds of places that through the MLS it's going to get pushed to. So you'd go back and enter those photos, the supplemental documents, because in this market, everybody's needing to look at those as they're going through. Submit the listing. Your listing's live. Woo-hoo! That's all for that. The last step is on our compliance side through Dotloop. Is going to be a little bit different than how you currently submit documents when you're doing the listing. So Erin was kind enough to do a video for us. So let's get her.
Okay, so now you're gonna log into Dotloop and you will go to your listing paperwork. Now, since you put your listing on the MLS, it is now your responsibility to add your MLS printout and your assessor tax records and your completed seller's disclosure handwritten. If something's not needed, archive it before you submit it. So now you'll check what you'd like to turn in to go to compliance, and you will do submit for review. You'll pick Keller Williams, Greater Des Moines. For most of you, this will be your only option. People with the Teams function will have two options. You'll have to complete the property address, if you completed view details on the first screen in Dotloop, then you won't have to worry about it. So these are listing documents, and I'm going to put them into my MLS listing input. So this is the significant difference. My MLS listing input means you, the agent, put this on the listing. Now for you, you might want to say new listing that I entered on MLS, and maybe the address. And then you'll submit for review. And here's just requiring that some documents be completed. You, of course, will have a complete listing packet. So once you've submitted it, if you have anything returned, you'll receive that notification like you always did, and it will be in a different folder. So you're just submitting to a different location. Got it, Keller Williams? Listing documents. My MLS listing input. Okay?
Cool. That is all I have. Like I said, the last thing y'all need to do is fill out this MLS policy document. Any questions? Kind of straightforward. You can give this to me today, you guys sign it, and I can contact Cindy and get you activated as soon as possible. Those of you on Zoom, I gotta email you this document, and then of course the directions for how to do this, so you have this to work hand in hand. Somebody on chat on Zoom made a good point about submitting for compliance. If you don't submit it by my MLS listings, you may get duplicates on the MLS, and that's gonna get you some hand slapping from DMAR. So be careful when you submit through compliance that you select the my MLS listing. It'll kind of go into a different funnel and avoid the data entry person altogether. Thank you so much, Carol. Kelsey, that's gonna be a note for your market center, how to do that. So get with Danielle. Patrick, I don't know. I'll find a way to put it on our Facebook group page so you can watch it again. Patrick's question was about showing the video, seeing the video again that Aaron just did. All right. Oh, Carol, the Google Classroom. You'll have to teach me how to do that. I don't, or maybe Sean knows. Okay, no. We'll figure that one out. All right. All right, 5 minutes. We're gonna come back together and have our commissions to classroom training. So y'all are welcome to stay. Zoom, you're welcome to stay. People on Zoom, the document I have for that class is on Facebook in the group. So you can go print it out because it'll take you a little bit. It's a hefty one. It is commissions in command. So it's about 17 pages. So go ahead and start downloading that. All right.
So we will eventually be transferring that dotted site to, right? Are you set up for that now or no? For the MLS listings?
Oh, you mean on the command side?
Yeah, for compliance.
We haven't looked into how to do
Okay.
that separately.
Okay.
There isn't a way to submit just to one or the other.
Like if it's your listing or if you can submit to you to enter into, okay.
Yeah, that's something we've got to figure out how, so we're trying to transition to the real person.
And I think it's great, like I said, I was talking to Tyler yesterday. He's like, can I guys agree as we're 100%? I said, no, we're doing green sheets first. I said, but if you think about it, I mean, that's really good stuff. Because if we really contacts and stuff, it's not interesting. So they're going to be so excited about it. I'm still calling it green sheet class. Yeah, I mean, offers and commissions, but, and then start to, opportunities. I mean, like, that's me open the door for opportunities and how that all works. It's like, do you want to use your own CRM for your own day-to-day stuff? Great, but there's just, I mean, I just did a little command line snippet for, design. It was like a little snapshot of our neighborhood. I tried to get some things for our page together. I was like, we'll do our neighborhood. And it's like, it was just easy. Just drag and drag.
Yes,
So go on your page, go look at the expert.
I know, it looks so professional.
Email, and like I told us, like once a week, we need to be just picking a neighborhood or
And
a zip code.
There's a video that design has, I haven't
explored that too much.
Yes.
But-
That, I like that one, the only thing I'm not wild about that one is, when it tags like what the neighborhood is about, like, they've got their own, like yoga or dog lovers or like.
Yeah.
No
It's like,
idea.
that's a bit much, too much stuff. Right, let's go in here. Let's-
Thank you for your girl, I'll show you pictures of my mom's smile, really, and the drywall, she just absolutely love it.
Let's open this up real quick.
She's like, I'm just so happy, Shauna, thank you so much.
It was a, I can't remember who I gave you. No.
Yes.
Okay.
See, this was. She had like some drywall, and then she things that.
So he got her or somebody else?
I think he did it, but like.
Very nice.
It's like the part went all the way to the edge of the steps, and then like that wrought iron, and she had handed up. Yes, this is all, so that part was. I posted on our Facebook, I can tell you to fix the carpet.
Yeah. And did Craig, his name do the carpet or not?
You responded.
I think I responded, Craig Harwood.
Harwood.
He's an agent now, he's still an active agent, but he's done carpet at my house. Every once, whenever I see somebody post and say carpet, I usually say his name.
I don't know, because I think that two people responded right away, and she was able to get in touch with somebody. Yeah, I would like to go film that, because like, she just wrote, but she was extremely pleased and. Oh, no, I don't think that's, but I have, whoever this is, this one, this one. So, but yeah, it's nice that we have that resource, it's like, hey, you know,
I know.
like I said, and then to have somebody who does the work and then
Yeah.
give a good review, so. So just thank you again.
All right, it is 10:31. Gave everybody an extra minute. Again, we have a packet that is available on Facebook for those coming in, Commissions in Command. And here in person, we have them next to the sign-in copies. So your front page is a few definitions and terms that you're going to see in Command. Some are kind of make sense. Market Center, we're Greater Des Moines. Opportunity type, that's kind of our new loop instead of loop with their opportunities. And phases of the opportunity in states. Some are team only focused. The commission guide, the things that we're going to go through today is going to be create a contact, share, start an opportunity, create and accept an offer, and then submit that commission request. So we're going to go over the first two very quickly because I think we have, Tyler's has his command classes on that. And of course, Shauna can help you guys with creating the contact. Pretty simple, going into agent.kw.command, log in with your KW credentials and click the contacts button. It's a little person. I don't know why my little thing didn't translate over here. So at the bottom, you'll see a picture of mine, Terry's contacts. You'll see the red button, add contact, and that'll get you through the process. On page 2 of the booklet, it kind of shows all the different information that you can put in. Of course, the basics are going to be name, email address, phone numbers, and that should be enough to kind of get you rolling to create this opportunity and everything else. So page 3 in here on the screen, we have the kind of the flow chart of creating an opportunity. So you can start by going back into the contacts and create that opportunity from that individual, or you can go to click opportunities and clicking the create the opportunity box. And then the details will pop up. Everything in bold is a required field. The rest of it is purely optional. You'll see number 12, commission rate is required. That of course can be changed going forward. So if you think, you're the buyer side, office minimum 3%, we hope we get that. Sometimes in negotiations, things change. So it's not set in any kind of stone. Page 4 of your booklet shows you kind of a screenshot of what that creating opportunity looks like. You'll see under the client, it's kind of, the booklet's at the back of the page when you sign in. Thanks, Stephanie. You can just start typing their name in. If their information, if they're already in your contacts, it'll pull that information in. If it's not there, you have to go back to create that contact again. Opportunity name will kind of auto-populate as to that client's name dash listing, if that's what you've selected, or buyer side. Best practice is to make it the property address. It makes it easier for everyone to kind of find that information. Opportunity phase also needs to be active for us to be able to see it. All right, here's the nuts and bolts of creating and accepting an offer, the beginning of the commissions. So again, you're going to step right through everything, clicking opportunities. You're going to go to all opportunities. So you can kind of see a list of all of the opportunities you've got selected. You're going to sort them by address, buyer type. You're going to click on the blue opportunity name, and that's going to open up the field, and you're going to select the offer and commission tab. There'll be a series of kind of tabs across the top, starting with details, documents, and I think offers and commissions. Can't remember what the last one looks like, but seller profile is also in there. and then you're going to click new offer. One of the reasons that this offer feature is in here is, especially in this hot seller market, you've got multiple offers. This is a way for you to kind of put all those in there and create a report to give to your seller for the listing side, to put all of those options in there kind of as a, you know, here's, instead of looking at each individual document and trying to decipher who had what, you can say this person's coming with 100% cash, this person's coming with 30% down, but quicker close. So it helps the seller go, what's important to me? Is it the all cash, they're not going to have any lender problems, or is it the quick close and not asking for anything? But if you don't have offers and you're just wanting to get commission, you still have to do the initial offer, and that's it, nothing else. You're going to do the name of the offer, initial offer. You can, you know, if you had the multiples, 1, 2, 3, 4, or Agent Jones, Agent Smith, however you want to separate it out. The offer date and the close date. Then the next step will be the parties. You're going to fill out the buyer and the seller name is required, and then filling out the agent, the co-op agent's name is a required field. That's all that's required on the parties. Getting people coming in. There we go. The next step is clicking on terms. And you have 2 fields to fill out, cash and finance. You cannot fill out the sales price. It's going to take cash and finance amount and add those up, and that's going to be your total price. So whatever the percentage down is, or they give, you know, doing a 97% loan, or are they go doing VA, USDA, it's 100% financing. Percentage of earnest money, you can just fill in the dollar amount and it'll automatically calculate that percentage amount. You don't have to put that in. Again, seller's cost is another optional thing to put in there. Really, the only required field is going to be your cash finance to get your sales price. You're going to click the agent analysis. You can skip all of that. You don't have to fill any of that in. And then you're going to click accept or reject. And once you have clicked accept, we're on now page 7. You're going to go to the manage commission tab. And it's going to look like this. And this is hard to read. I understand. I'm sorry. There's a lot of information here. You have your general information. You have the payment to the agent. Since you created the opportunity, it's going to populate your information in there initially, I think, or I think you may have to put your information in there. Let me get into the listing side. You may have to enter or select your own listing. So at the top, there's a little flag that says select from listings. You're going to show just your listings that are going to be in there. And then you're going to click on whichever one that is, whichever listing this offer is going to go to. Okay. All right, in the general information, again, you'll see the start items are the required fields. We are on page 8. Sales price at this point can be modified, can be changed. In time from the initial offer, you've had some negotiation and you've decided we're going to go up. We're going to go to 310 instead of 300. You can change it to that. You can either put in a percentage for the commission rate, or you can put in a flat fee. And then it'll kind of calculate, it automatically calculates the rate. So instead of this one, it's a $9,000 commission, we're going to do an $8,500 commission. You'll want to enter the contract date and close date. you'll see the units here is a total of 1. For this is for a solo agent. Right. Any questions yet? Okay. All right, now we're getting into the agent side, agent payment information. So this is where you can go down and put your information about your units. Of course, if you're your solo agent, you're going to put 1. Again, your agent gross commission is going to pull in from the other side again. If you have to modify it again, you can. You would click the calculate commission button. The yellow highlighted section and below the KW Cares, KW Kids Can, and the Bold Scholarship, all automatically totaled to 0, so we don't have to remember to put a 0 in there. It won't kick back. I will tell you, if you don't put anything in there, when you hit submit, a pop-up for KW Cares is going to pop up saying, do you want to contribute, and give you some options there. It's still totally optional. KW Cares and KW Kids Can are both tax deductible, so you can use them as a tax write-off. The one part that's different from green sheets is the agent split and the company, or the agent royalty. You know, on the green sheet, you could say, yes, I'm capped, no, I'm not. And you could change the kind of the split to be 100% or 90 or 70. That's not optional here. If there's a change, if you have a change in your split, you're going to do that during your anniversary month. By the 10th, then there's a document you'll fill out and return to Alicia, and then she'll make that change in Winmore, and it'll populate it here. Once it goes into our Winmore system, if you're capped on any of these things, it'll automatically know that. We don't have to keep track of 250 of you. Thank God. If you do, if there is a change within the month on the split, if something we've gotten wrong, at this time, it's not correcting until transmittal. Like you'll see on mine, if you notice, it says 40% split. Because for when I was entered as an agent, my split was 60-40, because I was considered a new agent. So I went to change it this month. Well, I found out that it's not going to change until transmittal. So we also have the options of additional deductions. And the 3 deductions that are most used in our office is our local KW Cares. It's KW DSM Cares. Unfortunately, it's not a tax deductible donation, but it is still very useful for our agents. The Red Settlement, if you use Red Settlement for your TC work or any of that, you'll enter there. Personal property transaction, those that you get to a year, that's a $150 transaction fee, you'll put in here. And you add that under extra payment options. It's right at the bottom. It's very hard to kind of see sometimes, but it's there. Please don't miss it. If you do regularly donate to KW DSM Cares, we want you to continue that. That's your option, your choice. There'll be a pop-up and you'll have a drop-down box. You'll select deduction, and then another pop-up, and you'll put in the information, again, that's highlighted in yellow, and all of those are required fields, including the address and the phone number. The nice thing about the address, it does kind of populate from kind of Google. So, and all of them you can use the 401 West Town Parkway, because those 3 are all us local. Okay, questions about agent information? So before you hit that submit button, you're going to check that the total commission is correct, that any additional deductions are showing up, whether you KW Cares, Kids Can, Bold, the additional deduction totals are there. Then you can click the submit button. oops, I wanted to go back. On page 11, you see that it shows open until you hit that submit button. I won't see it until you click submit. Once you've clicked it on page 12, you'll see it says next to summary submitted. Once I have pulled it into our Winmore system, you'll see that it's now changed to imported, and it'll have all those totals there. You'll also see on your details page, it'll have the DA number already populated in there. Now on page 13, a DA was created for our market center and the number 19898. So, and since we're still in dot loop, once your file is approved in compliance and it says ready for DA, it'll be populated in there. I have turned off the required green sheet field in submitting through compliance right now. So you'll see that has gone away. If you've created any new templates or tried to submit, you shouldn't have an issue if you don't put the green sheet in there, because you will not have to put a green sheet or any kind of document while submitting through commissions.
The date that green sheet, what's the hard cutoff?
Hard cutoff is April 1st. All right, so we are now going to look at multiple agents on the same side. So you're with a team and you share 50-50, or whatever your split is, 25%. This is kind of the layout on how to do that. Solo agents, you can take a little nap, but not too long, because we're going to come back to something. You're going to need to make sure your side of units says whatever your split is. If it's 50-50, you're going to put 0.5. And that will be able to open up so that you can add another agent. So you'll be able to go in there, search for an agent's name. It's only going to be our market center. Put their name in, how many units that they're doing, and the split of the gross, whatever the gross commission is. If you have to change that units from 1 to 1/2, you're going to have to hit that little calculate commission button so that it kind of refigures out what that total is. And then again, make sure you know for your co-agent what their KW cares and any deductions they want to make. And that, not a whole lot different than how we did it in green sheets. We're listing both agents. Okay. Now, that for everybody else, even solo agents, if you represent both sides, you're a dual agent, you represent the seller and the buyer, you have to do 2 commissions. You have to do 2 opportunities and create 2 separate commissions. And that'll create 2 DAs. And we'll label those DAs listing by, so you can verify, because it's not always 100 that you've split out the commission equally. So you can say, okay, this one had a referral, an outside referral, and I need to make sure that on the buy side, I notate that everybody understands that that's where it goes. It doesn't come off of the listing side. Okay. Second thing, in the past, as a listing agent, if the co-broker was another KWDSM agent, you would do the DA and the green sheet for both of you. Not going to happen anymore. You do it for your side and the other agent will do it for their side. So again, some buyer's agents have missed saying DAs because the listing agent forgets to share that DA with the other side. So now they have the opportunity to make sure that their deductions are put in there correctly and that they get to see and make sure that the totals are correct. I will say this, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, thinking about this one out loud or in my head. DA changes. if you're, if you have agents representing you and a co-agent, or even you representing both sides, a DA change will be submitted the same way it's been done before, in dot loop. On that DA change form, make sure you put both DA numbers so that I can make changes on both. If there's especially if there's a price change, so that's going to affect the commission on both sides. Or if there's a commission change and it's affecting both of you because you're both taking a little bit of a cut to get this deal done, I need to make sure it's reflected on both DAs. All right, here's another. This is another fun one. Outside referral. So outside referral is in the same place as extras, where we had the deductions part. The drop down, you'll come down and you'll select outside referral. Again, you'll get a pop-up and all of the yellow areas are highlighted again, are required fields. One of the things that is definitely required here is the tax ID number. And this is just for the outside referrals. So when you get one in, make sure you ask them for their W-9, because that'll have all the information you're going to need for this spot right here. It's going to have that they have an EIN number, what it is, what their address is, and a phone number. And you'll populate it right there. And so make sure you're getting it from the brokerage and not the individual agent, because individual agents can have W-9s and have their own EIN numbers, but we have to pay a brokerage to brokerage, because we don't know what their contract is with that individual agent. Questions about? Let me see if I can find my chats. All right, we have, love that we don't have to remember capping. DA stands for distribution authorization. So we're authorizing our closing companies to pay in this breakout. So I'm gonna minimize you back up. All right, I'm gonna move on. Inside referrals. There may be times, and it's a little rare here, but you get an inside referral from somebody in the office that I don't work in Adel. I just typically work in Des Moines area. I don't do Dallas County at all. So somebody else does do Adel, and they've given that referral. But I agree to pay you $1,000 from my commission. So to do that, you would take your commission and subtract that referral that you've agreed to. Your referral was your commission was originally $9,000. You're going to subtract that $1,000 out for, now your commission is going to say $8,000. That's going to be a little warning on the side that's going to pop up saying, hey, this doesn't calculate, this doesn't balance, you're not going to be able to hit submit. You'll go back in, you'll add that other agent name and information. They'll again have 0 units because you're not splitting your unit with them. You're just giving them a dollar amount, and you're going to give them $1,000. Again, typically they don't take out their donations, deductions, but if they want to, they could. But they will be, royalty and company dollar will be taken out. Questions on inside referral? Because on that, where outside referral was, you saw there was a drop down that said inside referral. We as a market center are not using it that way. We're going to use it this way, where we're going to deduct it from your total commission. This way, the agent who's received the referral is not paying company dollar and royalty on the total amount. So both parties will do that. All right, page 17, I went over DA changes, adding the DA change form in the loop and submitting it to DA changes only. Because once it is submitted and imported on the commission side, you can't change it. You can't make any changes within command. We're still going to do it the way we've been doing it. There will still always be a DA changes form, no matter where we go. We'll always have it. The one thing that is kind of going to be different is how to terminate a DA, especially if you have that listing. You're going to have to terminate it to be able to create a new commission. So there is a button, and you may have seen that on a previous slide when it said submitted under summary. There's a request termination button. You can click on that. That'll send me a link when I go into my commissions folder, and it says requesting termination. So I know to kind of cut that one loose. I'll go in and terminate it in Winmore. You still need to have the document, the cancellation PA, and for either the buyer or the seller side. And especially for the listing side, you'll need to put it in the earnest money request so that that money gets sent back to however is agreed on the document. That still needs to be done, but this may make it a little quicker for you to get on to the next one. It's like, all right, we terminated that, but actually we're taking a backup offer. So you can start getting commission going on the second one. You'll get a pop-up that says, by terminating this commission, it's permanently removed. Are you sure you want to do it? You say, yep. And then it's sent off to me. All right. Questions? I'm going to try and pop in the our online chat book. Yep. Thanks, Carol. It is in Facebook. This document is on, it's attached to today's event, and it's in the files section. Should be at the top if you sort by date, because it's the last thing that was uploaded. Everybody excited, ready to go? You can start today. If you've got a deal that's going on and you're ready to create one and start, go ahead and do it. If you've already created a green sheet, please don't, because that will make me create two DAs, and that, we don't want to do that. But we have been testing this with another agent for a couple of months, and it's pretty smooth. There's always going to be some bumps, some things we're learning. One thing I forgot to bring up, on green sheets, you would put in there the co-op agent information. You might there's a couple different places you could have put it in there. You're not going to be required at this time. I'll say it that way. At this time, we're not requiring you to put the co-broker information. We'll find it on the MLS so that they will show up on the DA, so that you can send that to the closing company to show that iHome, Wells Fargo, or whatever the other realty company is that brought the buyer actually can get paid at the table. That's one of the changes.
So we use Red Settlement.
Mm-hmm.
We still turn our files over to them and they do this for us.
Yes.
You know that? Okay.
What they will have to do, though, is have your login information
Okay.
into your KW command.
Okay. Are they up to speed on this already, or will it be April 1st with them?
I mean, yeah, that's April 1st for everyone.
Okay.
So,
We met with them yesterday to kind of talk them through the process. I don't know if they're ready to jump on board. I think if they're doing anything with Ankeny, they are doing that already. So I think they're partially there, probably about as much as we are.
Okay.
cool. I don't really have anything. I expected this to take an hour, but it all depends on questions. And I don't Patrick, your question about when will we start using DocuSign? We do not have a clear-cut date on that yet. We will let you know. We are trying to do these in phases and steps so that, you know, we're walking into the pool and the ocean slowly. Yes, you're welcome. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Terry.
Thanks.